dear President and friends of the Bermuda Olympic Association, dear fellow Olympians, dear friends, good evening to everyone. You are gathered to celebrate some of the magical moments which the Bermuda Olympic family has participated in and contributed to over the last 80 years. It would have been a great pleasure to share this special moment with all of you tonight. But I promise, as soon as my diary allows, I shall come and see you in Bermuda. Bermuda is more than a beautiful island with clear waters, which made Mark Twain comment, "You go to heaven if you want. I'd rather stay here in Bermuda." Bermuda has always shown a passion for sport and a fervent commitment to the Olympic movement and its principles, taking part in both the Summer and Winter Olympic Games. Your country today is a renowned sporting country thanks to the strong engagement of the NOC, the national sports movement, and the national authorities. Thanks to all the prominent athletes to whom the NOC is paying tribute, with the Olympic Wall recognizing every athlete who has competed at the Olympic Games. With this wall, their determination and commitment will remain forever in people's memories and will continue, I'm certain, to inspire young Bermudans. To all those present tonight, my congratulations and my thanks. Through your performances, through your activities, you have brought joy and pride to your country. You're inspiring young people to believe in their dreams and their future. Never resting on your laurels, always moving forward and aiming at excellence. That is the motto of every athlete. And that is also what the NOC has been aiming to do since its foundation 80 years ago. For that, I would like to thank the whole team of the NOC for being a reliable and greatly efficient member of the worldwide Olympic family. A special thanks and recognition goes to your President Judy Simmons, who through our Olympic Education Commission is contributing actively to advance the Olympic ideals among the youth of the world. Today, you can look back with pride at your Olympic past, and you can look forward with great confidence to an even brighter Olympic future of Bermuda. I wish you all a very enjoyable 80th anniversary celebration. Enjoy sport, enjoy the joy of life, and have a very nice evening. All the best.
Encouragement comes in many forms. From ceremonies like the one we saw today, when the names of Bermuda's Olympians were proudly displayed at the National Stadium, to the valuable work of the Bermuda Olympic Association, celebrating its 80th anniversary this year, to the support of family, friends, teachers, and coaches who spot the talent in the first place, tend and nurture it. I won't pretend to know more than our keynote speaker about the years of dedication and training that go into qualifying for the Olympics, though I am sure they also involve sacrifice. Personal, emotional, often financial sacrifice. And that sacrifice is bound to make the result so much sweeter in the end. This is a lesson we can take out of the sporting context and apply to our lives more generally. Whether our passion in life is arts and culture, community service, business entrepreneurship, nature conservation, travel, languages, whatever it may be, the effort we put into it has a direct effect on what we get out of it. So I encourage everyone, young and old, it's never too late, to find what it is you're passionate about and to throw yourself into it 100%. I'd like to end by thanking Judy Simmons, President of the Bermuda Olympic Association, and her team for the sterling work they do year in, year out in supporting Bermuda's budding Olympians. And thanks also to Mr. Horton and his team, the 80th Anniversary Committee, for the effort they have put into organising the anniversary events this year. Many thanks.
Many of you are here this evening will certainly know that I'm a sports enthusiast, a fan of all disciplines. And like the acting governor, I don't run very well. Some say I run like a bull, making a lot of noise and snorting. But I do know the hard work that goes into training and preparation, and I admire everyone who has excelled in a very demanding field of endeavor, and in this case, our guest tonight who has made history in doing so. So tonight, like many in the room, I am a big fan of Jackie Joyner-Kersee. What you have accomplished, ma'am, both on and off the track, is a remarkable testament to the impact that one person can have on the annals of human achievement, and also on the day-to-day lives of countless people you have touched through your work. Thank you for that critical work, and thank you for developing and inspiring so many of our young people. We certainly look forward to hearing more and more about your foundation and your work for the young people of St. Louis and throughout the world that you've touched. The legacy of Jackie Joyner-Kersee and all Olympians, whether you are decorated with an Olympic medal or not, is one, I believe, of perseverance, tenacity, pride, strength, and resilience. Resilience is certainly something that all in Bermuda can relate to, having just gone through a little visit from a dear friend, which I mentioned earlier. We are no strangers to hurricanes in Bermuda. It's part of our history, perhaps part of our legacy, and it is the occasional downside of living in paradise. And as we have done before, Bermuda and all Bermudians, we rise up to the challenge and we overcome it. We know to prepare, and I'll just divert for 1 minute here and thank the leadership of Senator Barron and the Commissioner of Police and the EMO for making us be aware of preparing and understanding the challenges we face. So we prepare, and we know how to navigate through adversity, and we are stronger for having been through that experience. As I've been out and about the last 2 days since the passage of Nicole, I have to say that I'm immensely encouraged and extremely proud to see Bermudians coming together from all walks of life to clean up their neighborhoods, to fix up their houses, and to help get our island back in shape again. That is the true Bermudian spirit. One of unity, pride, and determination. And I believe that these are qualities that every Olympian athlete, they've triumphed through adversity, taking pride in what they do, and have demonstrated resilience, strength, and perseverance. Jackie persevered for years and had success. But through the strength of her commitment, even in one of her, I think it was your last Olympics, when you were injured, you still on your last jump won a bronze medal in the long jump. That's perseverance, that's resilience, that's stamina. So my friends, as we celebrate this milestone on this wonderful evening here at this beautiful resort, it is important that we all join together with the Bermuda Olympic Association to do all we can to ensure that current generations and future generations of our athletes can strive not only here at home, but overseas for that glory. Over the years, and more recently, Bermuda has produced some of our finest Olympic competitors, men and women who have made a difference in the world of sport, both locally and internationally. Men and women who have competed much further than they ever thought they would do. Men and women at the forefront of their respective disciplines, devoting their energies to the pursuit of excellence, personal bests, new records, and representing Bermuda with integrity and honor. They are an inspiration to all of us through the 80 years, and I want to take this opportunity to thank and commend all of them tonight. Please give it up for our past Olympians. So my friends, tonight is the opportunity for all of us to celebrate and honor the Bermuda Olympic Association for the work that it has done across generations to help produce outstanding young people and fine athletes. In coming to a close of my comments on behalf of the government and the people of Bermuda, you have our deepest appreciation and thanks for the work you've done. May you have many, many more years of success, and know that this government will continue to work with you and all sporting organizations to create an environment of opportunity and success. It is an honor for me to be here tonight, and I look forward to enjoying the evening. And I make one request, that the first dance is by the acting governor and a good husband. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Distinguished guests, fellow Olympians, ladies and gentlemen. Somehow, a copy of my speech must have leaked to the premiere, so forgive me for any repetition. A few minutes cannot do justice to Jackie's incredible athletic career and life story, but I'll try my best. I could start off by listing Jackie's incredible achievements. She was the first American to win an Olympic gold medal in the long jump, the first woman to earn more than 7,000 points in heptathlon, a record that still stands. She won 6 Olympic medals, 3 of which are gold, broke 5 world records, is a 4-time world champion, and was voted the best female athlete of all time. I could easily go on all night. However, I believe the 2 things to be most impressive about Jackie are her resiliency and her desire to give back to the community. As for this first trait, Jackie has demonstrated resiliency time and again. Growing up, Jackie was raised by incredibly young parents in a neighborhood riddled with shootings and plagued by alcohol and drugs. When she first began running, she lost every race, but this only made her more determined to win and work harder. As an adult, Jackie faced a constant stream of challenges between losing her mother at 18, neighbors and coaches who didn't have faith in her, false and harsh accusations from the media, disappointing performances where she lost her motivation, severe asthma attacks where she was continuously rushed to the hospital, and multiple injuries right before or during track meets. Jackie persevered through them all. Most notable is Jackie's experience at her final Olympics. She had to withdraw from the heptathlon event due to a hamstring injury, but continued on to compete in the long jump. She had 6 jumps to make her final statement to the world. Her first 5 jumps were mediocre, but on the, well, not to us, but but on the final jump, Jackie was extraordinary, as she courageously pushed through immense pain to land a jump, earning her a bronze medal. I was reluctant to speak about how any of my own experiences might relate to Jackie, but after reading Jackie's book, I was in such awe at how someone could portray their achievements while simultaneously remaining incredibly generous and humble. When I was diagnosed with an almost career-ending medical disorder that resulted in 9 surgeries over 2 years, I looked to others who had succeeded against all odds. My doctor told me that I had other things to contribute to this world and should focus on that rather than my rowing. I was devastated. But stories like Jackie's reminded me that there might be ways to get healthy and achieve the goals I had set out for myself. With patience and perseverance, I competed in and won the first Oxford-Cambridge women's boat race on the Tideway. and just over a year later, I was able to qualify for the Olympic Games in Rio and represent Bermuda in the women's single sculls. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Jackie, for sharing your resilience and giving me the courage to keep pushing. Even before Jackie hung up her spikes, she began giving back to the community. She founded the Jackie Joyner Kersee Foundation to raise the funds to provide a center in her hometown where young adults could learn the value of sport. Jackie stays involved with her high school track team and often trains with them a few times during the year. She always attends the Jackie Joyner Kersee Relays, where she holds an open forum for the girls competing, in which they can ask her anything. To Jackie, the biggest sin of all is having talent, but not using the talent to its fullest. Therefore, Jackie has dedicated herself to bettering the lives of young adults and ensuring they both have the opportunity to engage in sport and learn the value of competition. This dedication is something we can all learn from and be inspired by, to ensure that the young adults of Bermuda dream big and are supported to achieve their dreams. We have immense talent on this island, and it is up to us to support these young adults and nurture their aspirations. With that, I'd like to welcome Jackie Joyner Kersee.
Thank you so very much. Oh my gosh. You know, it's an honor for me to stand before you. I would like to thank all the dignitaries and thank each and every one of you. And also, I'd like to give a big thanks to Judy for her relentless, in making sure that, LaRon, who is my cousin, but also act as my manager, but then also Patrick Quinn back in Chicago, who Judy stayed connected with, and as we read and saw, but being very, very prayerful that Hurricane Nicole would just peak and keep going, And I was due to be here yesterday to also do a clinic, and I wasn't able to do that, but we are in conversation somehow, some way of bringing me back, because it's very important for me to always be able to work with young people and inspire them to be the best that they could be. And as you heard before, each presenter, they talked a little bit about my story and how I got started. And the foundation of my existence today is because of people who saw the potential in me that I did not know that I had. I grew up in a community that, for me, I felt was a lot of love, a lot of people giving me support, but I wasn't naive to recognize the violence and the drugs that surrounded our community. I stayed focused on really trying to make my parents proud, and that was getting an education and being the best that I could be. I was exposed to athletics through a community center that also allowed me to work with a librarian in the library. Taught me at that time how to check out books, and our generation today, you Google it, and you can find whatever you want on the internet. But at that time, during my time, I had to check a book out, So in doing book reports, and I learned all this through this community center. And then I got involved in track and field, or athletics. And I wasn't one of the best girls. I wanted to run because my friends were running, and I wanted to be on the relay team. My first competition, yes, I finished dead last. But all I wanted to do to see myself improve a tenth of a second if I was running, or a half of an inch if I was jumping. That meant to me the work that I was doing was paying off. And as I continue to talk with my coaches and I continue to set goals, I realized that I would go to competitions and my times were getting better, but I was always in 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th, or 8th. And you always was on the grass. And in America, they give you ribbons. Ribbons were great. I had a multicolor of all of them. But I noticed 1, 2, and 3 were on the podium. And I said, I want to learn how to get on the podium. So I trained to be in the top 3. not realizing that one day the top 3 would put you on Olympic teams. When I turned 14, I saw the 76 Olympic Games on television, and I saw Evelyn Ashford. At that time, they would put the university you attended, and she looked like me. She wore her hair in cornrows and braids, and I just thought that, wow, maybe one day I can go to the Olympics and be on TV. That was my goal, was to get on TV by going to the Olympics, not knowing that this was going to come to pass. And my coaches and everyone who worked with me said you had to be willing to work hard. And I'm like, I work hard every day. You gotta keep working hard, because they want us to really, as a young person, sometimes you taste success and you think that that's just it. But for me, my coaches really denied me things that I didn't know they were denying me. I made junior teams when I was 14 and 15 and 16 years of age. But my coach said to me that if you're as good as you are today, you would be greater come tomorrow. That meant by the time I became a senior. So I had to keep that hunger. And by the time I was a senior in high school, I went to the Olympic trials, and I didn't realize, it takes more than just the physical, the mental capabilities of trying to compete against the best athletes in our nation. And I finished 8th in the long jump. And a coach at the time by the name of Brooks Johnson, who was recruiting me to go to Stanford, walked past me and said that the Lord works in mysterious ways. And I didn't quite understand what he meant, and I told my high school coach that. And he said, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Just remember that. And then all of a sudden I get my scholarship to UCLA, which was in basketball, but I knew my heart was driven towards track and field. I knew I wanted to run track. And so my freshman year, I go to UCLA. I'm thinking for me, one of the best schools in the nation. And I am playing basketball, and my basketball season is going pretty well. I'm doing well as a freshman. And quite often I would call home and talk to my mother. And I was very, very afraid because I was so far away from home, being from Illinois and going all the way for me across the country to California, and I was homesick. But I never wanted my mom to know that I was homesick, because it was about me setting my goals. It was about my dreams, seeing my dreams become a reality. And even though it was a difficult time, but I wasn't going to allow those difficult moments become an obstacle and an excuse for me not to succeed. So as I talked to my mom, and I would say to her that things are going great, I would get off the phone and I would cry. But I knew that this was the journey I needed to be on. This is the path that I chose. And how hard it might appear to someone else, that I had to do the work. And I was always willing to work. No one could outwork me. And I didn't care what it was or what it was at that time, they couldn't outwork me, academically or athletically. I was going to see this through. Because sitting at home were people cheering for me to be successful, but also cheering that I would come back home and not succeed. So I didn't focus on what I couldn't control, but I focused on what I could control. And that was getting my education. And my freshman year was very challenging. I didn't expect the unexpected, to lose my mom. My mom had been doing extremely well, and she had contracted the worst form of meningitis, and she was bleeding from every organ in her body. And they made the call. I had to rush home to St. Louis, drove over to East St. Louis to go to the hospital my mother was in. And prior to me leaving to go to college, I wasn't able to see my mom because of certain situation that was happening in our family. And so my mom wasn't able to give me a hug as I traveled to Los Angeles. And so as I traveled back from Los Angeles, going to St. Louis, rushing over to East St. Louis, to St. Mary's Hospital, and my mom is what I call quarantine because her disease was highly contagious. And it was devastating. My brother Al, who is older than I, but my mom put a lot of responsibility on me. And I have 2 younger sisters. And as we sat and huddled in the hospital, I talked to my mom's best friend, And I said to her that, you know, they had on, I call it the breathing machine, you know, and I said, is my mom breathing or is the machine breathing? And Joyce is my mom's best friend, that's her name, who worked in the hospital. And she said, you know, it's a combination of both. But remember, Mary never suffered a day in her life. And she was, you know, in a coma, and her skin color was caramel, but because of the internal bleeding that was in her brain, and their skin was just discolored, it was real darkened. And so they left the decision up to me to either take my mother off the breathing machine. And I decided on behalf of my sisters and my brother to take my mother off the breathing machine in hopes that we would get a pulse, which we did, but it only, I think it was maybe, you know, a glimpse of hope for maybe 15 seconds. And then it just went flat. And at that moment, you know, we all embraced, and, you know, we broke down, and I really wanted to go where I could find peace and love, and it was the community center that I grew up in. I traveled over to that community center. Little did I know at the time when I walked up to the steps and the doors had padlocks on it. And I just started thinking, you know, where do the young people go? You know, because it was a place that really kept us safe, kept us off the street, kept us engaged, involved with seniors, and doing a lot of positive things. And here I am, this freshman, and I really don't have the resources, because in the back of my mind, I'm trying to think, how can we reopen this center? And little did I know that people would try to use me for their own personal gain and try to help me try to open that center as I continue to have dialogue about it. But I didn't really have resources myself. I'm staying, I don't have a place to live. I'm over at my aunt's home, and the one night, you know, debating, should I go back to school or should I stay in East St. Louis? And as I lay there and I was praying, and my mom came to me. And I knew when she came to me, that the one thing I had going for me was that scholarship. And I had a dorm room, and I had all the food that I could eat. So I got up the next morning, I told my aunt, I'm getting back on that plane, I'm going back out to California, I'm going to finish what I set out to do. And as I traveled back to Los Angeles, my freshman year, throughout my journey, I always thought about home. I always thought about East St. Louis. And as I made my first Olympic team in 1984, I knew that was my senior year, but I was on a basketball scholarship, talked with the athletic director, and I said, is it possible that I could just redshirt? I promise you, I will come back and I will finish school, because it's not about you, it's the promise that I made to my mom, because I would have been the first one to graduate for my family. And so they didn't believe it. They didn't believe I was going to come back. So I go to Los Angeles, make my first Olympic team, don't do as well as I wanted to do. But my brother, who makes the team with me, Brian, he won his gold medal in the triple jump and become the first gold medalist in our family. And I won a silver medal, you know, in the heptathlon, because I win that silver medal, and I look at that silver medal as inspiration and motivation, because I was dealing with a hamstring injury, and that injury itself caused me to doubt myself and my coaches and everyone else who believed in me. Because when I went to those games, I didn't go to the games thinking like a champion. My leg was bandaged, that meant something to me, that something is wrong. That bandage became an excuse. So I went through the 2-day competition. And when I finished with the silver medal. And I remember embracing my brother and sharing with my brother that, you know, tears of joy was rolling down my eyes because no one had picked my brother to even make the final, let alone win a medal. And he said to me, Jackie, oh, don't cry, don't cry. I'm like, no, these are tears of joy for you. And I promise you, if God blessed me to make another Olympic team, I want to be the toughest athlete out there mentally. Because physically, I have the gifts to do it. But mentally, I just wasn't ready. And when I go in here and talk with the media, I'm not going to allow them to use my leg as an excuse. I'm going to go in there and say that I just wasn't strong enough. Silver medal is something to be proud of. And that's something that I would build on. And I trained the next 4 years to be the best in the world. And I was blessed to win a gold medal in the '88 Olympic Games and a gold medal in the another gold medal in the '88 Games in the long jump. But it brought me back to my community. And at that time, I said to myself that I didn't need a building to help people. I took my sponsorship dollars and put it into different programs, different organizations that I was involved with. And then some 8 years later, as I'm training for my last Olympic Games in '96, where I'm out at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri, and I get the call about we're going to have a groundbreaking. And that same day, and I remember it so vividly because I tore my hamstring and I had to go over here. You know, why I'm upset, sad, because I have 14 days before the Atlanta Olympic Games are about to begin. But then my heart is filled with joy because I'm about to break ground on the Jackie Jordan Kersee Center that was going to be built in 2000. So on the 37 acres, we built a 41,000 square foot building that housed wellness in it, recreation, after school program, dance room, computer lab, science lab, and what we call our healthy steppers, our seniors. Because my grandparents or my great-grandparents, on my mom's side, I didn't know. On my dad's side, I did. But when I went to the community center, the seniors were there, and they became a part of my extended family. So as I raised the $12 million to build the Jackie Jordan Kersee Center, we opened the doors in 2000. And just this last May, we added another 20,000 square feet to the building itself, where we have partnered with what we call our Head Start, working with young kids from the cradle to 5 years of age, and 52 of them are preschoolers. And those preschoolers will filter into our after-school program. We use sports as a hook to get them in the door, but to expose them to the things they don't feel they need to be exposed to. My goal is to make sure that every child that comes through our door can read on grade level. It's challenging, but it's crucial, and it's very important. Before you very humble and very honored. But when you talk about longevity, you talk about 80 years of celebration. Judy, your committee, your team, each and every one of you, past and future presidents of the Olympic Association, the work that you have done, the work that you must continue to do is working together. There are going to be barriers. There's going to be people that's going to criticize you, and there are going to be people that's going to uplift you. But you must know that you haven't been here for 80 years for a reason that is not beneficial, a reason that is not going to allow you to continue to grow, to continue to make changes, to continue to make a difference. As somebody said earlier, I have a quote that preparation is everything. It's better to prepare and look ahead than to look back and regret. The seeds that you plant today, you will see them blossom come tomorrow. Hurricane Nicole just passed over. She beat me here first. But at least she kept on going, and and I'm glad she's out to sea, and maybe someone else or who else is trying to form, but not coming back this way. So continue to plant those seeds. Continue to see those seeds grow. Continue to have the faith in your young people. You might have one Olympic medalist, but continue to plant the seed, because that one medalist makes the difference. That one medalist. That one medalist say that it is possible. A nation of 60,000 people. I come from a community that's only 30,000. And we've been blessed to have 3 Olympic champions to come from my hometown. Al Joyner, Don Harper, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and my husband have coached each and every one of us. I'm so blessed that I'm just blessed. I'm just blessed. And I want to wrap it up by saying to each and every one of you, if you give the world the best you have, the best will come back to you. God bless you and thank you.